It was about a new Apple laptop that's gonna cost 649, A18 Pro processor. Same processor as an iPhone, but according to the benchmark, that processor is about as good as the one I have in my 5-year-old laptop. But there was some debate about whether or not the base model would have 16 gigs of RAM. I, I'm I'm just gonna look like if there's a Qualcomm equivalent machine. I feel like at some point I might want to spend $500 on a laptop. If I had 2 grand a month as my UBI, I might, once in a while. Maybe not very often, but once in a while, I might buy a $500, like a 400, 350, 500 Canadian dollar, 50,000 yen. I might be interested. I want, like, if there can be a Snapdragon laptop with a mobile phone Snapdragon processor, but it's a laptop, and it has a decent amount of cheap SSD built in, and it has an SD card reader or two. It doesn't have to be made out of brushed aluminum. If it's a really good laptop, not too heavy, big screen, $500, big screen, 1080p, big screen, big fucking screen, 1080p. 1440. Oh. Anyway, $700. I might also take a look at the $700 laptops. I'm converting from Canadian to US. So really, I'm already a couple of $100 under Apple's asking price for the laptop I have now, essentially being worth $650. It might be worth it just to get some extra RAM, because the RAM in this one is soldered in. It's not necessarily a bad plan, there's pros and cons, but don't sell a base model with 8 gigs. $500, 16 gigs, 15.6-inch screen. Cheap parts, I don't give a shit. 50,000 yen. 50,000 yen. 50,000 yen. And also, if you can make the laptop water resistant, so I don't have to worry, like, what if I dropped a beverage on the keyboard? 500 bucks, waterproof, big screen, decent SSD, at least 16 gigs of RAM, but 32 would be nice. You know, even if you're using last year's parts, 32 gigs of last year's RAM is better than 16 gigs of this year's RAM. You know, 500 bucks. 32, yeah, 32 gigs of RAM. Big fucking screen, even if it's only 1080p, I think it's terrific. I don't give a fuck. Big fucking screen. Big fucking screen. And, you know, it's a mobile phone processor, right? So, big battery, but it doesn't matter that much. But still, you know, like, I'm thinking that you might put this thing together with off-the-shelf parts. You don't need a lot of cooling. Some would be nice if you want to top out your cell phone processor, but it's not necessary. Anyway, a 50,000 yen laptop. At some point, if I walk past a Snapdragon for 50,000 yen laptop, and it's waterproof, has a big screen, really amazing fucking retard nigger ghetto speakers, just big bass, big bass, big bass. Party, like, this laptop provides a party in a living room. You don't need a sound bar. Big fucking bitch laptop. Big fucking speakers. Big fucking battery. Tiny little cell phone processor. Decent SSD. Lots of SD card reader ports. RJ45. Oh. You know, just put a Snapdragon in a 10-year-old laptop frame. Just the shittiest. As long as it's like well put together, doesn't fall apart. Anyway, you figure it out. It's just a $500 fucking laptop with 32 gigs of RAM and a cell phone processor. You know? Enough RAM so that you can really bottom out that processor. If you put 64 gigs of RAM on that cell phone processor, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna do anything for you. Just really top out a cell phone processor. You know, 32 browser tabs. 32 YouTube browser tabs. And a decent GPU from a 10-year-old desktop. Still pretty good, pretty fucking good. It'll play Counter-Strike at 1,000 frames per second, I promise. $500 H Snapdragon 8 Elite. The 8 is the mobile one, and then ostensibly the 10 is for desktops. So put 32 gigs of RAM on a mobile processor and put that in a $500 laptop with a 1080p screen and really decent ghetto speakers. Big bass, big nigger bitch laptop. 50,000 yen. Not too thick, Still gotta fit in the backpack. No, not too thick. But it's not a thin and light. I'm not gonna pay extra for thin and light. Make it as thin and light as it can be without me having to pay extra for the fact that it's so fucking thin this year. I don't want to pay extra for a thinner laptop. Make it as thin, just the standard, according to industry standards with these various tolerances and error rates in production. We can make a $500 laptop at this size and weight and density. $500 pretty good laptop with a cell phone processor, lots of fucking RAM and SSD. 500 bucks. 50,000 yen. Do it.